I think it was the second quarter of the Wizards game, wasn't able to come back in and play. So he's going to miss at least today's game against the Lakers, but it'll just depend on how he bounces back from that treatment and how his knee's looking throughout the week. It's certainly not a light week for the Hawks, especially with them having a back-to-back with Dallas and Utah. So they haven't said exactly how long he'll be out, but my guess is it might end up being more than one game, but we'll just have to see.
All right, so they're cleaning up the knee bone. Sarah K. Spencer, that's what they go for on the underscore thing on Twitter. I always screw it up. But if you want to follow the Hawks from the AJC, Sarah is the source. So what do you think? I mean, we love where this team is going. We wish we could have finished off the Nets the other day. What did you think of how that played out, the half-court offense? Some things were good. I was asking Carl, and I'll ask you, Sarah, why wasn't Clint Capella out there in that game?
Yeah, so toward the end of the game, I mean, I think it's easy to forget because of how well Clint Capella has been playing. But he's still kind of getting up to full speed. I mean, he certainly looks at full speed, but when it comes to, when the Nets are playing their five out kind of small ball lineup, I mean, it's tough. It's tough for a big guy like him when you're basically just spreading the court out with a bunch of sharpshooters, which is what the Nets were doing. So I forget exactly what Lloyd Pierce said, but he basically said that Clint Capella was actually a little winded toward the fourth quarter, and then he wasn't able to play overtime. So that was certainly a tough loss for them, but overall they've been playing so much better. They've gotten some guys healthy, and I think a big reason why you're seeing the Hawks play so much better is also because Trae Young is playing so much better, and the Hawks' fate is so closely tied into how Trae Young is performing because he generates so much scoring, and also just the offense kind of runs through him. And DeAndre Hunter as well. They have a handful of guys playing really well for them right now, which is why you're seeing them kind of surge a little bit after going. I think it was 1-6 for a 7-game period there when they were sort of slumping. So they're definitely looking much more competitive, and I think this week is going to be a good kind of measuring stick for them going up some tough teams in the West.
Sarah, let's go back a couple of weeks. The alleged, and I use this word because it was, the alleged dispute, I guess, however you might want to put it, between JC, John Collins, and Trae Young. And everybody's like, okay, are they going to work through this? Or are they going to work it out? Was this blown out of proportion, or was this something that covering the team on a daily basis, they talked about it, it's over, and they're playing better because of it?
I mean, it certainly seems like it's pretty much been worked through. You see them out there on the